What's going on, guys? How we doing today? My family hit a pretty special milestone here this month. The beginning is we have gone now 2 full years with zero TV, zero Netflix, zero Hulu, none of that stuff. And so that was a pretty intentional decision for us that we made a couple years ago. And I kind of want to talk just briefly here, a minute or two, about what that's done for our family, for my marriage, for my health, life, everything about it. And before I start, I always want to say, I get a lot of pushback when I tweet these things or talk about these things. And look, I'm not saying this has to be for you, and if you don't do this, you're not going to win at these things. Like, look, everything in life is a balance, and everything should just be about intentionally creating that best life for you. If I'm honest, and I hate to admit this, but this Sunday, our family was outside something of like 9 of the 12 waking hours, just at parks, backyards, slides, pool, just doing all these really fun things, creating all these awesome memories. And man, if this was 2 or 3 years ago, probably 3, 4 years ago, I wouldn't have had any of those experiences. I just would have told my wife, hey, look, Brady's playing his former team. I'm scheduling my entire day around that. I'm watching these other games with buddies. I'm, all these things. And so, it's not bad to watch TV or to watch football or to watch these things. In fact, when my sons get bigger, man, if they're really into football, basketball, golf, whatever that might be, man, and we bond over that, that's a great thing too, right? So I'm never saying it's an all or nothing thing. I'm just saying, hey, think about these things a little bit. And if you're where I was at maybe a few years ago and you're like, I think I can do more. I think I can do better. I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, well, I watched a bunch of shows and seasons of shows, but I didn't really pursue my dreams and my best life, right? And that's where I felt myself going. So I completely cut everything off. My wife was on board with it, thank God. And it's been a great thing for us, but I would just challenge you to be mindful about it, right? Like if you're sitting around zoning out to 4 or 5 hours of TV every night, I just challenge you, maybe watch half that and work on something you're passionate about other than that. Maybe start writing, start reading, journaling, working out, doing these other things, because for many years I told myself I don't have the time. I don't have the time to start a side business. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to study the Bible. I don't have time to write, pray, do all these things, right? Dude, I was watching 25, 35 hours a week of TV and sports, man. It turns out when you take away 30 extra hours, you got a lot of time to do these things. So I just challenge you to be a little mindful around that. What it's done for my family, number one, is giving up is our marriage. I'm a big proponent, man. Only 2 things should be happening in your bedroom. You should be sleeping, and if you're married, you should be having some fun in there too, man. That's about it. For a long time, my wife and I, we had TV, and our big thing was we're gonna watch a show every single night. This is what we did. We watched Game of Thrones all the way through. We watched I don't know, all these shows, man. I can't remember most of them now, but seasons of shows. Kids would go to bed, we'd just zone out, watch seasons of shows. We'd have our phones there. We didn't interact at all. And so that was the big change when I really wanted to make a couple years ago is, hey, let's connect at night. Let's do devotionals. Let's read together. Let's watch something on YouTube and study together. Let's talk and create our life and legacy and talk about these deeper things together. Let's have some adult fun together. Let's create this kind of life that we want together. And so that has been the biggest change by far, as I've seen my wife and I's relationship just really go to that next level. And I think that's a big thing. And if you're married, I would challenge you to think about that a little bit, about, hey, are we really connecting if we're just laying a couple feet apart watching a show every single night? Now, again, this isn't a terrible thing to do. We still put in a movie and cuddle on the couch, and I think that's a great thing. And I'm just challenging you, if this is your nightly routine like it was for me and my wife for so long, maybe take a look at that and see what you can do. The second thing is dads. This one's on you guys. Again, I alluded to this. This was a night about 4 years ago, and I'll never forget. My daughter was 2. And it was a pretty nice day out, but there were some big football games on I wanted to watch that day. I'd had a lousy day at work the Saturday before, working all 6 days. And I remember my wife being like, hey, Ty, why don't you come outside, go for walks, do all these family things. And I just grumbled and said, no, I'm watching football, I remember getting on my knees that night and really in prayer just promising myself I will never do that again. That's not the dad I want to be. That's not the man I want to be, And so really making that point now that, hey, when I look back at my life, man, I can't even remember who won games a year ago or 2 years ago, all these big games, but I will never forget the memories I'm making with my kids. To throw my son up in the air and hear him laughing, to, watch the boys crawl around these tunnels, to have these adventures, to take my daughter on these hikes and these fun things, man, to play princess parties with her and tea parties with her. I mean, these are the things that really are going to matter to you, I think, as you journey through life, not really so much who won the game. And society's kind of programmed us to think these things are so important, right? But if you really zoom out for a minute and you get intentional and think, what are the things that really matter in my life? Well, everybody's going to say, it's my kids, it's my wife, it's my family, it's these relationships, right? but do we really prioritize that? And that was a hard question I asked myself and had to journal a lot about that. And I thought, if I'm looking at my week on a Sunday and I'm deciding what I'm going to do based on what team, when my team is playing, and that nobody else can talk to me then and all that, then my priorities aren't really in line with what I'm saying, and I need to walk that out then and work that out. So I'd challenge you around that. Another big thing is just financially. I mean, my goodness, I always tweet, we save maybe $60 a month, something like that, by not having cable and Netflix. But I'm literally making thousands and thousands of extra dollars because we don't have cable. And because of those 35 hours, I'm now side hustling, writing books, doing coaching, doing all these things that I've been able to create with that extra free time. So the money has been such a blessing and such a good thing too, and I would challenge anybody around that. I think the next big thing is health, obviously. How many times do I hear from people and always push back, I just don't have time, I don't have time to work out, I don't have time to do this. Man, you can find time when you cut out some of these things, right? Again, if you go from watching, the average American watches 25 hours of TV a week, 25 hours a week, if you just cut that to 20, that's 5 hours, man. That's an hour a day, 5 days a week. You don't even need that to be in good shape. Like, you don't even need that much. You need about 3 hours a week, to be honest. And then take some walks and get intentional with this other stuff you do. So our journey's been really cool. It's something we don't plan on adding back. We do have families visit sometimes, and they'll say, well, what do you guys do? And I give you a ton of ideas, man. We do dance parties, we do hikes, we do just family walks a couple times a day. We're doing sidewalk chalk outside, we're swimming, we're doing just all kinds of stuff, man. Relay races in the house. I mean, you need ideas, man. Shoot me some ideas, or shoot me some comments below, and I'll give you 1,000 ideas. But just kind of creating this on fire life and at home is something that we've been really, really intentional about. So I would challenge somebody out there today who's watching this to maybe take that plunge too. Try it for 1 week. Try it for a few days and see if your life doesn't improve. Much love, guys. You have the greatest day.